Alright, so as you all know, I have made a petition for Legend of the Guardians 2 to exist. Now, Legend of the Guardians is probably, well, as you all know, my all-time favorite movie. I even got the Blu-ray and all that, so yeah. So basically, the first movie, it didn't do well. According to critics, it had a generic story. Now, it was pretty much the YouTube, reviewers saying it was, wow, that was fantastic, that was a great movie. But, it was, like critics, like, say, the Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I find bullshit, and yeah, so basically, the movie only made $140.1 million worldwide, and its budget was $80 million. So yeah, the movie didn't do well, and as we all know, the ending of the film sets up for Legend of the Guardians 2, with Clud surviving the fire and about to put on Metalbeak's mask to take Metalbeak's place as leader of the Pure Ones. Now, not only that, but Legend of the Guardians didn't get a sequel. It never had since that. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, well, it's obvious it won't get a sequel because it didn't do well. Sorry about that. My mom just came in. But yeah, now, there are other animated movies out there that didn't make that much money, but they got sequels. And at a very short time. And those movies, well, at least from what I know, even one of them is actually live action, which ending is honestly, like, it's not something serious like Clud's survival, but it's morely like a joke from my perspective. And yeah, so those movies are Planes by Disney, you know, that Cars spin-off, Romeo and Juliet, The Nut Job, and Goosebumps, which, you know, that movie with Jack Black. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone knows it. But yes, now, those movies, they did not do well, as in, didn't make that much money and weren't really successful, and obviously, like I just said, didn't do well. However, let's talk about what they're getting. Romeo and Juliet made around $194 million worldwide. Is that good? No, it's not. The Nut Job made $120.8 million. Planes made $239.3 million. The Goosebumps movie made over $150.2 million. And that's getting a sequel. Yes, there's going to be a sequel this fall, which I do like the first one. In fact, I'd say the second one be pretty good. I'm pretty sure it will be like a good movie, but like it didn't do well. Like, why are these movies, like, why did they get sequels and how? They didn't make that much money. Romeo and Juliet, that's got a sequel right now. Nut Job got a sequel 3 years after the original. Planes got a sequel 1 year after the original. And Legend of the Guardians is still yet to get a sequel. This is bullcrap. It's bullshit. And the original Happy Feet only made like what, 300 and something million dollars worldwide. Yeah, that's not well enough. If that was for DreamWorks, they wouldn't have made a sequel. They wouldn't have. I love Lucashead. No, but that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. Why are these... It's like, why is Hollywood making bad sequels? Oh, Jesus. But back onto what I was saying. Now, Legend of the Guardians 2, there is a slight chance of it happening. Now, yes, the first movie is almost a decade old, but come on. It's hard to believe that so much time has passed since the first movie. It's hard to believe that that day was there. Now, basically, hear what I think the plot of Legend of the Guardians 2 could be about. Well, as the first movie ended off, Soren defeated Metalbeak. He saved the Owl Kingdoms by helping the Guardians. He saved them from electrical pain of the Flex. He stabbed Metalbeak. However, Naira escaped. Soren, well, he tried to save his brother from the Pure Ones, but Clud died from falling into the fire. Soren, Twilight, Gylfi, and Digger have become guardians. Now, not full-fledged guardians. It'd be like Poe from Kung Fu Panda when he becomes the Dragon Warrior in the first movie. He's not the full-fledged Dragon Warrior. Like, he's still learning. He's still practicing. But at the third movie, Poe is officially the full-fledged Dragon Warrior, which begins him onto being Master Poe, giving him the Sensei title. Now, it'd be kind of like that with these characters. Now, I've actually only started the Guardians of Ga'Hoole books, known as the Capture, and it's okay. It's just a little bit different than to the movie. Like, it's okay, but I think it'll get better as I go on the road. So yes, however, while they're guardians, Cludd isn't actually dead. Cludd survived the fire. He has now taken Metalbeak's mask and taking his place. Naira escaped, as we all know, and now Naira and Cludd found each other, and now they team up, and are now both leaders of the Pure Ones. Now, as we all know, I know like most of the main parts of the book series, Cludd and Naira are mate, and Soren becomes King of Ga'Hoole. Now, I'm guessing he most likely will, and I think that this sequel will probably be as dark as the first movie. And I think they would probably go in a more darker direction. I'd like to see Soren become the next Lies of Keel. I'd like them to see him to earn his title. Now, Lies of Keel, he's obviously the leader of the Guardians, aka Easelrip. But personally, I think if Cludd kills off Easelrip to get revenge for Metalbeak's death, probably. However, really, if you think, although what I know in the books is that Cludd and Metalbeak fight off, and then Cludd kills himself. So maybe Cludd just wants to kill Easelrip for getting revenge on Soren for leaving him in the fire, maybe. So that'll be quite interesting. And probably Naira fight off the Guardians herself, and probably the remaining Pure Ones, which we saw at the end of the first movie, who I'm guessing were the ones that were with Cludd when Cludd first meets Metalbeak in person. Now, I think what also could happen is, obviously, yeah, I do know about Noctis and Morella's death in the books. Now, I think maybe, just maybe, Legend of the Guardians 2 could actually be split into two parts. Now, personally, I think this should be a trilogy. 3 main movies, and then a TV show, because there's a lot of events that happen in the book, and I think a TV show, you could use all that, and it'd be better in a TV show. Well, mostly like the main parts, like I just mentioned, like Noctis and Morella's death. So I think Noctis and Morella being killed by Cludd, probably towards the end of the movie, would be pretty dark and violent for probably rated PG. And honestly, it'd just be awesome to see how menacing and cruel Cludd is. Now, personally, I'd like to see Eglantine grow a little more. In the book, I do hear that she does become an adult/teenager, but I have to read the book. I mean, I am only starting the first book, and it's just okay, but I'm definitely going to read the rest of it because of how much I love the movie, and I want to see how it stacks up to the movie. But, yeah, maybe Eglantine will probably be older, and maybe she takes Soren's place is training as being one of the Guardians, and maybe Easelrip's teaching Eglantine to be a Guardian. That'd be quite cool. Now, what I've also like to see is that maybe, now just a slight maybe towards the beginning of the film, Soren, Digger, Twilight, Gylfi have their first fight off with a random enemy. And basically, they find Grimble's family, and Soren goes, "Wait a minute, are you Grimble's family?" And then they go, "Yes, we are." And obviously, they ignore Grimble after his death, which is pretty a shame. So it would be nice to give him a bit of a mention, or we don't know. We don't know if he did die. I mean, he could have just faked his death for like the Pure Ones just to make them happy. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see if Grimble is still alive. Maybe we'll see, maybe. I'll just have to read more of the books, though. I mean, that is what the books are there for, to be fair. Okay, now, another thing is that I do hear Cludd and Naira have a baby named Corn. Now, would be very interested to see if that at the end of the movie they have their son Corrin, that builds up Legend of the Guardians 3 in a sense. Now it probably would, and maybe at the end of the movie, like I'm guessing, you never know. And yeah, Claude and Naira have a son named Corrin, and now this be interested to set up Corrin to be the villain of the next film. Now, I'm guessing maybe at the end of the movie, Soren tries to talk to Clud very emotionally, and it gets pulled off really well executed and really executed emotionally pulled off when Soren is teaching Clud the good and right, the wrong and the rights of evil and good. However, it does make sense, and Clud turns back to his normal self. Well, he learns his lesson, and he's like, maybe he just says sorry, but he might not, like, he could trick, and I would like to see Clud come back as a guardian. It would be quite nice. If it's emotionally pulled off well, then yeah, but if it's just gonna ruin the idea of Clud's death from the first movie, well, quote-unquote death, because he did survive, then no, I'd be very disappointed. Now, I really hope Legend of the Guardians 2 happens, and I hope it does come out, like, it may be in a few years, hopefully, because it's such an amazing movie, the first one. Guys, please do sign the petition in the link in the description, and I shall see you guys next time, and skidoo.